This is the number one thing that I see keeping a lot of newer online business owners absolutely stuck, chasing their tail and actually not producing the amount of money that they want in their business. Um, so today I want to cover like the actual math behind why low ticket products, low ticket communities, low ticket subscriptions, selling a $27 digital product is probably some of the worst advice, especially if you're under $10,000 a month. You don't have 50,000 followers, you don't have this massive volume, and you don't have this massive audience. That's what I want to talk about with you guys today. I want to cover some statistics behind it, how some of these potential people are actually monetizing, what they're not telling you. And full transparency, I'm not creating this video for the sake of being polarizing or just to be contrarian, but it's a very like bold message in the market right now, and I see it keeping so many people stuck. Right, you have all these people who are launching these low ticket products, thinking that they're supposed to be making all this money from their low ticket product, or they're trying to launch a $15 subscription on school, thinking that that's going to replace their income, and they just don't have the volume. Right, a lot of this is going to come back to volume, audience size, the demand, and the clout that you potentially have. And you don't have to take my word for it. Okay, I would challenge you guys to do a little bit of like research, do a little bit of due diligence. Look at a lot of the creators who are telling you that you can make, create a digital product with ChatGPT and you can sell it 15 times a day and you can make all of this money. Go look at their audience size. Most of them have millions of followers. Go to the school games. Go to the school community and look at the people who are winning the school games with these low ticket subscriptions. What is the common theme? They have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of followers, hundreds of subscribers, hundreds of thousands of subscribers on YouTube. They have massive influence, they have massive demand, and they have massive clout. So unless you potentially have that in your business, I want to talk about what you need to do differently if you actually want to make money. Okay, because we can't operate the exact same way as somebody with 600,000 followers on Instagram. I can't act the same as them because it's a completely different style and model of business. And this is including myself. Okay, I've built a 7-figure business while having a smaller audience than most people in my landscape. I've helped clients make millions of dollars in profits online. And this is something that we keep in the forefront of our brain 24/7. So if you're still with me, I have a doc. We will kind of cover it. I will break it down. I'll break down some statistics and some math behind what this actually looks like. And again, I'm not saying that there's anything broken with low ticket subscriptions or low ticket digital products, but it cannot be like the core monetization vehicle if you don't have massive audience, you don't have a ton of followers, or you're not potentially just like spending a ton of money on ads. So the $27 digital product trap, why low ticket offers keep smart people broke. Now, you can probably scroll your feed on social media right now and you'll come across a ton of people who are saying, oh, you can create a digital $27 digital product, ChatGPT. You can sell it, 300 times a month and make $8,000 or whatever the promise is. And the ironic part of most of this is they tell you that it's obtainable without an audience, but they have massive audiences. Right? Let's just call it what it is. Like if you are trying to sell any products or services online, you need some level of audience. You need some level of influence. If you're trying to make the majority of your money through a $27 product, you need a pretty big, massive, impact and influence. Versus if I'm selling a $1,000 product or $2,500 product, I don't need as much influence because I don't need as much volume. Okay. If I'm selling a $2,500 product, I can literally make 10 sales a month and make, $25,000. Versus if I'm selling a $27 product, I need 100 sales for, $2,700. So we're talking 1,000 sales to make $27,000 a month, which is nearly impossible for someone without massive influence. And this is coming from my own experience. Okay, I built a 7-figure business. One of my products has done over $1 million. And in the span of a few years, through one of our payment processors, we had about 4,000 payments inside of that payment processor with a mixture of different offers. So telling a brand new beginner that they're going to be able to come in and make 800 sales a month is like, let's call it what it is, a lie. Okay. Coming from a seasoned business owner who used organic content to build a 7-figure business, over the span of years, we had thousands of payments, and definitely not in month one. So I want to talk a little bit about like what, I'm not taking away the validity of some of these creators who are selling $27 digital products, but what they don't tell you is that's not actually how they're producing most of their money. They might be selling a $27 product on the front end, and then a lot of their marketing will look like this. I made $10,000 last month selling a $27 ebook, passive income with digital products. Just create a Canva template and watch the money roll in. And again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that $27 digital products are bad. Like ebooks, whatever it potentially is, a template, something that you can help your clients get a quick win with. I'm not saying that they don't have their time and their place. They can be used to identify buyers, help people get results, so that way you can send them to back-end products, offers, offer stacks, etc. But they should not be the core monetization vehicle for most people. Okay. And if you're under $10,000 a month and you're trying to build your entire income at around $27 sales, the math is going to eat you alive. Like just the raw math behind it is it's going to be nearly impossible, especially if you're doing like organic content creation, short form videos, whatever it potentially is. It is going to be extremely difficult. Okay. The people who are making real money with their $27 products are not making their money from $27 products. Like this is what they don't want to tell you about their business. It's a sexy marketing angle. And I get the reason for gravitating towards low, cheap products. Maybe you're not confident. Maybe you don't believe that you can sell something more expensive. Maybe you have like limiting beliefs, etc., etc. So it's very easy to gravitate towards something cheap, especially if you're like earlier in business. But the vast majority of the creators in the space that I look at who are selling cheap or inexpensive digital products, that's just a part of their monetization pathway and not all of it. Okay, that's their marketing message on the front. Like I made all this money with my $47 ebook, and that's just not the reality of it, right? Which is funny because then you can watch some of their content where they have like screenshots, and then you see like multiples of these high ticket sales and continuity offers and subscriptions and etc. So it's like we're not really even making money from the $27 product. That's just like a door into your world where you can upsell them on other stuff. So a lot of the creators who are potentially like talking about this model or teaching this model, they're simply like getting people through the door with their low ticket product, but it's a full on funnel stack. Okay, it's a full on, page one is the $27 product, which is potentially what they show you. And then page two is a $47 upsell. And then page three is a $97 a month, recurring offer. And then 7 days later, you get pitched a $497 course via email, right? So most of their cash flow is actually probably coming from these back end three pieces. And this is just like what gets people's foot in the door. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this, right? This is how it works, especially if you're running any type of paid media. You almost have to have this. Otherwise, you're just going to hemorrhage money and you're going to lose money on the front end of your ad cost. But most people who are like preaching this in the online business building space, they only talk about this. Okay, they don't talk about the upsells. They don't talk about the downsells. They don't talk about full-blown offer stacks. They're just painting this picture that as a beginner, it's going to be very easy to make all of this money with a $27 product. And that's just not the reality of it, in my personal opinion. Right? So when they say, hey, I made $10,000 from a $27 product, what they actually mean is they made, $10,000 from a system that started with a $27 digital product. And the $27 product is the door. The money is the hallway behind it. Okay, that's where most of them are picking up the majority of their weight. This is also a good lesson in business, especially if you can have like a low introductory offer into your world. Repeat customers. If you purchase this low ticket product from me, the chances of you buying the next thing from me or the next thing or the next thing are higher than me trying to convert a cold stranger into a $497 program. Okay, so that's just like the reality of selling offers online. Okay, that's a completely different business model than what most people tell you, though, right? This is a completely different ecosystem than what most people are painting this picture online. Sell a $27 ebook, make millions of dollars, buy a Lambo, do whatever you potentially want. And just the reality of it, like if you're selling a $27 product with no upsell, no back end, no high ticket offer behind it, it's a completely different game than what most people are showing you screenshots of. Okay. So again, I'm not creating this video to be polarizing for the sake of being polarizing or just to like be negative or take shots. I genuinely want to help anybody get results online. So I want you to actually come into the game understanding the game you're playing, right? No half truths, no bent maybe marketing methods. Like I want you to understand the full ecosystem, because this is the math behind it. This is the real actual math behind trying to make low ticket offers work for you in your business. And again, don't use my word for it. Go look at 99% of the people who are like talking about low ticket offers. How many fucking followers do they have? How many do you have anywhere near that? Probably not. So, I mean, I don't. I sure as hell don't. I know people who have 20, 30, 40 times the amount of followers as me. So, okay, this is where it gets uncomfortable. And like nobody actually wants to break down this actual raw data and math in their business and like think about it. So let's say your goal is $5,000 a month. This isn't a crazy unobtainable goal. Okay. Like very actually relatively obtainable goal to accomplish. Okay. Just enough to replace your job or feel like this is a real thing. Okay. To hit $5,000 a month selling a $27 digital product, that's 187 sales per month. Okay. That's roughly 6 sales per day, every single day. Now let's actually talk about what's actually going to be required to accomplish that. So we have a couple different contrasts on each side of this little table for you. We have $27 product, 187 sales per day, 6 sales per day to hit that over the span of a month. And then this is what you actually need to be landing on the checkout page of your product every single day. So you have 9,300 viewers to 18,600 viewers at a 1% to 2% conversion rate. And this isn't followers, mind you. This isn't views either. This is the number of people who click the link in your bio and land on your sales page. So go look at your socials. Are you getting anywhere near this? Are you getting anywhere near this amount of views on your actual on your stand store, on your beacons, on your checkout page, anything like that, on your School About page, right? Are you getting thousands and thousands and thousands of views on your checkouts? Because if you're not, it's just math. Like, and you're not going to sell 100% of the people who land on your pages. Like the industry standard conversion rates are actually very low for like the number of people who land on your bio and go check out your page. It's not like 90 out of 100 people are purchasing. You're talking about a sliver, maybe 5 out of 100 people who are landing on your page are actually purchasing, right? Then you also run the risk of high refunds. You have we'll call it what it is. You're probably going to be attracting a different caliber of client. And in my opinion, they're not going to be as great to work with, especially if you end up trying to do some type of coaching, mentorship, etc. If we're only leading with very cheap, inexpensive, low ticket products, it just attracts a different caliber of client. So we'll break down the difference between, like a $500 offer. Okay. So like I was saying earlier, where, the same ecosystem that the big creators are potentially running, we just cut out all of the other stuff and just sell the $497 program up front, or $1,000 program, or $1,500 program. 500 is probably like the bare minimum I would encourage most people to start with. So 10 sales per month if you want to make 5K. Like that's a very, very obtainable thing with a small audience. Okay, you could have 100 followers, 1,000 followers, and you could make 10 sales per month for a very long time with minimal growth, honestly. And then you have 2 to 3 sales per week. You have 500 to 1,000 viewers on your stand store, on your about page, whatever it potentially is. The math behind it just makes more sense in my opinion. But then again, what do I know? I'm Asian. I'm horrible at math. Okay. Low volume, higher commitment. Okay. And then you have support load. Okay. You have 186 customers per month. That's a lot of people to support. You got refund tickets. You got people who are coming in, asking you questions. And then what? You get month 3 and you got 600 people who are potentially emailing you about their product. And you have all this other back end stuff that nobody talks about. That is going to be a very real thing about running a business, if you can even hit that milestone, right? And then you have relationship depth. It's shallow, in my opinion. It's transactional. If you're selling low ticket products, they need to be very quick. They need to be able to be executed on very easily. You need to be able to paint the picture that it is going to be as obtainable as possible, as fast as possible, because nobody wants to buy a $27 product and spend the next 19 weeks deploying your thing. They want it right now. Instant gratification. Back to what I was saying, it will attract a completely different type of customer than you selling a 5K per year coaching program where there's already this high level of commitment to be in your ecosystem. Okay. And then you have support load 10 customers per month. And then you have relationship depth on the $500 offer, which is pretty deep and transformational. Like the intentions behind why people buy these two different products is completely different as well. This is something I've referenced a lot over the years. We can't sell your $27 product the exact same way that you would sell your $500 offer because it's two completely different ICPs or different types of audiences. They're buying for completely different reasons, right? They're not buying for the exact same transformation, the exact same reason, right? There's a different level of commitment. So we need to speak differently to them and we need to market differently to them. Okay. This person, it might be curious. This person wants like something very fast and very easy. Okay. It needs to be, this picture needs to be painted versus somebody who's like forking out a healthier chunk of money. They're already committed. Okay. They want a crystal clear outcome. They want the outcome that you can provide. Okay. There's a different level of quality of audience here, of customer here. Okay. So we'll talk about this a little bit more. To make $5,000 a month at $27, you need somewhere between 9,300 to 18,600 people seeing your offer every single month. And that's using generous conversion numbers, okay? Most of you reading this don't even have 18,000 people in your audience, meaning you would need to and then we can talk about this even deeper. So like if I need to get 18,000 people onto my checkout page or on my offer page every single month, what if I don't have what if I just have 18,000 people in my audience? So then what? Month three comes. Do I have to have I tripled that? Is my audience rapidly blowing up and growing extremely quickly? Because I'm going to have to keep up with the demand of continuously pumping people through this page. Right? Now, of course, you can funnel like your previous audience, and obviously all 18,000 of them aren't going to purchase. So you can start cycling through your audience, but then it opens up another can of worms and another big problem. Because if we're only trying to sell this very cheap, inexpensive product, you're going to run into volume issues. Because you just need that raw sheer amount of people landing on this checkout that you are going to run it. You're going to get throttled. Okay. Cause you're going to need massive amounts of traffic, right? Which then also talk about well, your content, your marketing, are you rapidly growing? Are you doing ads, et cetera, et cetera? That's just the reality of it. Okay. So meanwhile, to make $5,000 with a $500 offer, you need 10 sales, 10 people. That's it. 10 people. You got 10 people in your contacts right now. You got 10 people on your Facebook friends list. You probably have 10 followers on TikTok that you could go start conversations with. You have 10 people in your world that you could kickstart a conversation with about a potential business opportunity. You probably already have this, even if you've never created a single piece of content, ever. It just makes more sense, in my opinion, okay? The math doesn't care about your feelings, okay? The 186 sales at $27 is a volume game. 10 sales at $500 is a relationship game. Okay. So if I'm selling a $27 product, my only goal is to get as many eyeballs on my page as possible. Okay. Here's my little beautiful page. That's my only goal. I don't give a shit. The only requirement is that your body has skin on it and you have potential money to pay me for my $27 product. That's all that matters. My only objective is to just pump as many people through that page as I possibly can versus, with your $500 offer, it's more about how can I build a relationship with this person so that way they want to pay me? How can I build depth in this relationship with that potential person in my audience so that way they're ready to buy? Okay. In my personal experience, when you start leaning more heavier into this, you can actually sway those conversion rates, the percentages of the conversion rates way higher because we have the ability to personalize and talk to people and actually get into the inbox with them and, make it feel like an actual experience versus just go land on this page and purchase and I'm never going to talk to you. Okay. So the conversion rate problem, I will talk about this at a few different levels. Okay. Here's the part that really makes it sting. Industry standard for conversion rates for cold traffic to a low ticket product are somewhere between 1 and 3%, and that's being generous, right? Let's use 2% because I want to be fair. Okay. So $27 product to hit 5K, you have 9,300 visitors every single month. And again, that's not your followers. That's not anything like that. That's the number of people who land on your checkout page. Um, and then you have 186 sales per month, $27 product at 10 for 10K. You have 18,000 visitors and 370 sales per month. Okay. Then we have, even if we're just using that 2% conversion rate, which again, like I mentioned, with a more expensive product, we can lean into more personalization in the sales process. So that way we can start increasing the odds of that conversion rate. So it's no longer 2%. We can bump it up 30, 40, 50% conversion rate because you're actually personalizing it to the customer, not just expecting them to fall into this passive system where there's no personalization. It's a very one-way street, okay? So 500 visitors would be 5K a month, or 1,000 visitors would be 20 sales a month, and then add 10K, okay? If you're relying on organic content, getting 9,300 people to your sales page every month is a full-time job in itself. Right. And this is also another thing that people are like, they want to do these micro SaaSes and stuff like that too. This is the same problem that I'm talking about. Same principles behind it. And if you're running paid ads to a $27 product, any of you guys who are running paid ads, this is almost impossible. You can't do this. You can't run ads to a front end $27 product without a series of offers because you will hemorrhage money. You won't break even. You will lose money for every customer that you acquire. And like the marketers say, the person who can spend the most amount of money wins, right? The more money the person who can spend the most amount of money to acquire a customer wins. Okay. Why do you think Russell Brunson created funnels and upsells and downsells and a series of different offers? Is to combat the rising ad cost, right? So you're not going to be able to go sell a $27 digital product and make money and like run paid media to it and make sales for $27. Even if you did at this math, you would make $0, right? So even with this math, you would make $0. I spend $27 to make a $27 sale. And I'll let you in on a secret. You're probably spending 2 to 3 times the amount of that. Okay. So then that's where a bump comes in, upsell comes in, downsell comes in. Okay. And then you have, later on, you have another offer, high ticket offer on the back end. Okay. So it's not as simple as just like turn on ad, make $27 sales. You're good to go. It's just not the reality of it. Okay. Maybe in like 2011, when like Facebook ad, you could turn on a Facebook ad and everything would just be great. You just make all this money for like pennies on the dollar, but it's not a thing anymore. Okay. You're talking $50, like, community. You want to get a free school community member from ads. You're probably talking like $5 a piece to get something for free. You'll be lucky to break even on a $40 offer running paid ads without any bumps. You're talking, $100 per book sales call, right? Like this is the math in the business that a lot of people don't like to mention because it's not sexy, right? But that's the reality of the game that you're potentially playing. Okay. So I already kind of covered that. Right. The goal, and this is what also a lot of marketers don't tell you about running paid ads. The goal for most people isn't to even make money on ads. It's to break even. Like I was saying, like this is a great analogy. Like I was just talking about, if I have a $27 product and my average order value is, $27 as an example, and I'm spending $27 to acquire a customer, that's great because I'm basically just acquiring customers for free. So I can just continue to spend money on this because I'm not spending any money. I'm not losing any money. But you don't build a business on hopes and dreams and making $0. So what do? We upsell them. We downsell them. We sell them other products. And that is where our actual money is made. So this is what a lot of like the ads people won't tell you. The goal isn't even to make money on the front end of paid media. It's to break even. It's to maybe profit a little bit so you can scale your ad costs, so you can start scaling your ads and stuff like that. But the goal isn't to, put $1 in and make $80 out, right? Because it just doesn't work. Maybe, at least in the era that we're in right now. Maybe a new ad platform will come out and then this video will be irrelevant, but that's just not the reality of how paid media works on the front end. Okay. Again, if it's just one singular product, and if you don't have a series of products, I wouldn't even think about diving into paid media. Right. So, my honest opinion, why $500 makes more sense if you're under 10K per month. And again, I'm not creating any of this video to be just polarizing to be polarizing. And this is coming from somebody who's actually helped clients make millions of dollars in profits online. Okay, this isn't speculation. This isn't like something I just pulled out of my hat and I'm just like pulling out of thin air. I've helped clients make millions of dollars in profits. I've done about $2 million between myself and my business partner. And I've been full-time online for many, many, many years at this point. And have been in this landscape since 2017 or 2018. Sorry, that's a bit of an exaggeration. Okay. If you're under $10,000 a month, I genuinely believe that you should stop trying to sell low ticket products. I think that you should stop selling your $27 ebook. I think that you should not be trying to launch a little micro SaaS that's $2 a month. I don't think that you should be launching a low ticket subscription on school. If you are doing any type of lower ticket subscriptions, SaaS, monthly recurring school groups, then I would honestly only sell the annual. I would make the annual as sexy as possible and sell it for $200, $300, $500, like I've mentioned multiple times. Because it's going to allow you to get the volume. It's going to allow you to start making that income with less volume, and it's going to also allow you to get better market feedback. Because if I'm selling something for $500 and I'm working a little bit closely with customers and clients, then I can use that data and that to like refuel actual, what I want to do in the future with my products, my offers, my business, instead of just hoping people run through like this self-paced automated system and there's no depth in the actual relationship. Okay. So at $500, you can increase the perceived value. And what I mean by that is like, I was talking with a client who wanted to sell a $7 program. And my advice to them was like, hey, I wouldn't sell this. Like, you can still sell this $7 product, but I would put it as a bonus to what you potentially want to help people with. And we need to look at what we can personally do to increase the value so it's worth the $500. So you can add depth, you can add multiple products, you can add support, you can add chat, you can add groups, you can add lives, you can throw in all of this other stuff that makes it worth the $500. So that's the other thing that I'll make crystal clear, because I know that's one thing that a lot of people like, oh, I can't sell anything for $500. Like, we're asking ourselves the wrong question. What could you add to your digital product, your course, your program to make it worth the $500? What transformation could you provide that would make it worth that $500 investment? Okay. Right. You can add real support, community, live calls, one-to-ones, things that actually help people get results. You can stack bonuses. Okay. I've done everything from like sending people microphones to laptops to cameras to ring lights. Like, we're only limited to our own creativity. Obviously, keep them relevant to the program that you're selling. Like, if you're, selling a weight loss program, don't send them a gift card to like Domino's Pizza, right? It just doesn't make sense. Obviously, keep it relevant to the main program. This will allow you to start combating yourself with your competition, because I can start creating stuff that's unique to me, that makes me stand out, that carves out my unique IP, that allows me to have this unique market proposition, unique value proposition, because then I can start, increasing the perceived value. I can add support and I can stack all of these bonuses, which means over time, I will end up creating an offer that is unique to me and myself only, right? So if let's say I'm selling one of these $500 digital products that are very popular in the market, if I give them access to this $500 thing, but they also get A, B, C, D, E, F, G from me, and nobody else has any of that stuff, it means it's unique to me and me only, right? So that's going to make me different from everybody else in the market who's trying to sell the exact same thing as me in the exact same way, okay? In my honest opinion, that like obviously there are high value $27 digital products, but full transparency, like I'm a habitual low ticket product buyer myself, and 99% of the time I'm disappointed. They're surface level information. It's very generic. It's low value. It doesn't actually genuinely help me. Now, again, this could be because I've been in business for so long, so I'm buying these things that are very generic and basic to me, but they might not be very generic and basic to like a brand new beginner. Um, but let's be real. Most of the time, like the vast majority of your people aren't going to even follow through with the $27 product. Like it's going to sit in somebody's folder. It's going to like, collect dust. They're never even going to log in. They're never even going to execute on the template. Again, like I was mentioning in the beginning of this video, it just changes the demographic of who you're potentially attracting. Okay, it's a completely different caliber of client and the outcome that they are chasing if they're paying you more money for that product. Okay, and this also scales. This also scales with product price too. Okay, I paid one mentor $48,000 for 12 months of coaching, and it wasn't like you know he had to convince me to do anything. He didn't have to convince me to do shit. It was like he told me something, he gave me advice, I followed it because that's what I fucking paid him for. Right? I'm here to execute and deploy things that you are giving me in my business. And if I don't, I'm losing out on a lot of money. Right? Like if I sent him $27, like it doesn't really matter if this doesn't work. Who cares? It's only $27. Versus if I spent $500, my husband's gonna be mad at me. Why my wife's gonna be mad at me? I better fucking take this serious. Right? It's just a completely different caliber of client. Okay. Um, and here's the biggest one: you can produce more cash flow with a smaller audience. Okay, you don't need 18,000 people to see your offer. You need 500, and you need 10 of them to say yes. Okay, that's when you can build a business with a free community and some good content. No ads, no complex funnels, no tech headaches. Um, a $27 product requires you to have some like a traffic machine, like pumping out volume. Like otherwise, the math just doesn't math. Um, okay, a $500 offer requires you to be human, who helps real people. Like which one sounds more like you? Okay. Um, Side by side comparison. Let me talk. Like I'll talk about this for like what nobody shows you. Sales to hit 5K per month, 186, $27 digital product. Audience size needed 10,000 plus. You're gonna need more than that if I'm being honest. Um, ad spend to acquire often more than the product price. Like I was mentioning, you're gonna struggle to spend. You're gonna struggle to create customers for your $27 product for $27. Customer relationship, they might not even open the product. Refund requests, you're definitely going to get higher volume because again, it attracts lower quality clients. Repeat buyers, it's not going to happen if you don't have a back end, which I was talking about. Like you can go sell $27 products, but it can't be the only thing you're selling. There needs to be a back end in place. Your stress level, volume pressure daily. Ability to stand out. You can stand out if you carve out like unique $27 offers. So I'm not going to say it's like, you know, extremely saturated or whatever it potentially is, but it is going to be harder. Okay, it is going to be, especially if you're like selling any type of licensable products. You have all these marketers who are selling the exact same thing in the exact same way, and honestly, that's why most people aren't getting any results in their online business. Okay, then you have a $500 offer. You have 10 sales per month, 500 to 1,000 members in your audience. Okay, I have clients who've made multi six figures in their online business, and they don't even have 1,000 members in their own group. They don't even have 5,000 followers on TikTok. Like your audience size is not a direct correlation to the amount of money if you have the correct infrastructure in the back end. Okay. Ad spend to acquire, not required. Okay. We literally took one of our products past $1 million with free content. Didn't run a single paid ad. Customer relationship, direct, personal, high touch, which also means they'll probably end up buying other things from you. We've had clients who've bought stuff and paid and stayed for many years. Refund request, lower because you'll have more committed buyers. Okay. As long as you're not like some sales savant who's pressurizing them into buying your product, and then there's buyer's remorse immediately. But repeat buyers, common, trust is built in. Your stress level, relationship building weekly. Okay, compounds. Okay, ability to stand out. Again, like I was saying earlier, you have the ability to carve out something unique to you, creating a unique value proposition that is only you have, and still being profitable. Right, so you end up becoming a market of one over time. Okay. And again, this isn't about which one's better. This is more about like what's better for you right now. Okay, which one makes sense for where you are in business right now? If you have hundreds of thousands of followers, massive email list, paid ads budget, and a full back end funnel, $27 products can work great as a part of that system. If you're a coach, consultant, creator, you want to potentially, sell digital products, courses, information, whatever it is, and you're under 10K per month with a small audience, you're trying to win a game that's designed for players that have way more resources than you. So you're competing against the people who are going to go viral on whatever they post, competing against people who can spend as much money as they possibly want on ads because they have the ability to produce all that cash flow in their back end. So you're literally like making the decision to just bury yourself. Even if you go copy and paste all of these creators who have 1 million followers and they can just drive all of this traffic, you can go model them, you can emulate everything they're doing, you can steal their pages and you can funnel hack and you do all this stuff, and you're still just going to get buried because they will rope in the majority of the market share. It's just the reality of the game we're playing. It is competitive. Okay. So this is what I would do if I were starting over today and I wanted to get to that $10,000 a month mark. And again, this isn't from somebody who like doesn't make money online. Okay. My business has done a minimum of 10K per month for fucking 5 years. Again, my business has averaged 1.1K daily for the last 1,700 plus days in a row. So this isn't something I'm just pulling out of my ass. Okay. This is from someone who's made a lot of money online and has been consistently making money online for years. Right? I didn't have like a flash in the pants overnight success. I struggled for 3 years before I started making money. But after I figured out something that worked, I've been able to maintain that for many, many years at this point. So this is exactly what I would do. Build one offer at $500 per more. Okay, something that actually solves a real problem for my potential audience. This could be something, a previous version of me. It could be a license to resell a $497 program with my own unique spin and bonuses on top of it that make it a market of one, carving out to something that's unique to me that nobody else has. So that way people will start seeking me out for what I'm giving them instead of everybody else. Okay, once you start like understanding that, you'll see the big people who you're probably watching who are selling the products that you're a part of. This is exactly what they do. Okay, you can go buy this $497 program from me, but when you do, you're going to get A, B, C, D, E, F, G from me. You're going to get my masterclass on this. You're going to get my traffic training on this. You're going to get coaching calls with me. You're going to get blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's what I mean. They're stacking the deck so that way they have something unique to them and they're not just selling the exact same bullshit as everybody else. Okay, that's what I would do. Okay, not a PDF, a process, a model, and I would add support. If you're if you're not making any money, like go extra on the support. Do some one-on-ones, do some group chats, do some low leverage activities. Because it's like probably one of the easiest things that you can do to add to increase the perceived value that is very easy to add, right? And it's like very invaluable. You'll also learn more about your business. You'll get really great feedback. You'll get confidence, proof of concept, etc., which can then all be used for your marketing, your future offers, and more. Okay. Next, I would build a free community, one group where people get to know you, trust you, and see how you think. This replaces your funnel, your email list, and your landing pages. I would run a workshop inside of my group. I would teach something valuable, handle objections before they happen. I would let people see you in action, and then I would make them an offer. And then number 4, I would close sales with a simple Google document, no sales page and no sales calls, just a clear document that explains the offer, the outcome, and how to pay. Okay. Shameless plug, there's a completely free training inside of our free group that you can find somewhere around this video in the welcome section that breaks down the exact Google Doc framework that we've used for the last 5 years. That's closed tons of sales online without a single sales call, probably since 2021. So number 5, I would repeat: content feeds the group feeds the workshop feeds the sales. You do this weekly and it compounds. Okay. That's a business, 10 people. That's a business 10 people can support at $500 a month. Okay. Or $500 each. $5,000 a month with 10 humans who know your name. Compare that to chasing 186 strangers for $27. Okay. One sounds calm and the other one sounds fucking exhausting. Okay. At least in my personal opinion. But what do I know? What to do next? Okay. If this hit home, or you got any value from this video, I'm going to give you a few different action steps. Okay. Number 1, look at what you're selling right now. Is the price making your life harder than it needs to be? Like, ask yourself an honest question. Like, could I charge more for this? How can I make, like, how can I throttle the amount of volume that I need to make the amount of money that I want? Okay. Kind of hand in hand with number two, can I ask yourself, can I add more value, support, or more depth to charge $500 for this? Okay. Number three, stop comparing yourself to the creators with 500,000 followers selling $27 ebooks. They are playing a completely different game than you, whether they're telling you that or not. Okay? That's just the reality of it. Like, whatever you want to call it, it's literally a completely different business. And you cannot operate the exact same way as them. Because you don't have the data, you don't have the volume, you don't have the followers, you don't have the influence. They're going to make money with whatever they touch because they have the influence. The influence. Okay? Number four, focus on building relationships with a small group of people who trust you enough to invest a real price point. If you want to see exactly how this works, the community, the workshop, the Google Doc close, join the community below. I break this all down inside. Okay, there's a free masterclass inside of our welcome section, content trainings, offer trainings, workshops, communities, you name it. Right? So ask yourself these 5 little pillars. And if you got some value from this video, let me know in the comments. It's just the reality of the way that I look at business and something that I genuinely think is keeping a lot of people stuck. Okay, so hopefully you got something from this. Hopefully you have the ability to go out and make some tweaks in your business and start making some money and increasing the perceived value of your products. So you can actually start working towards that 5, 10, 15, 20K per month online, because it is a real thing. It is a possibility. But it's not going to be as easy as opening up ChatGPT, creating a digital product, and selling it 75,000 times a month, because it's just not going to happen if you don't have massive influence already. Okay? So, again, I didn't create this video to be polarizing or do this for the sake of just being contrarian. I did this because it's a big problem in the market that I'm seeing right now. And I just wanted to be fully transparent and let you know that my honest opinion on it. Like, why I think it's fundamentally broken, and it's probably actually going to end up keeping you stuck the longer that you try to chase that rabbit. Because, again, you can't operate the same exact way, because most of these models that you're being taught, or most of the models that you're being shown in business, are built for creators with massive influence. Right? And you have creators with 1 million followers who are talking about how to make all this money without an audience. I just made 200 sales with my GPT product in without an audience. And it's like, well, you have an audience. You got an email list of fucking 80,000 people. Even at a 1% conversion rate, you can send an email and you make money. With Sally, who has an email list of 14 people, it's not happening. Like, let's call it what it is. So, if you appreciated the candor and the no gatekeeping and breaking it down, let me know in the comments. If you want me to continue to do different perspective breakdowns about content like this, let me know. And I hope you guys had an awesome Monday, and I will see you in the next one.